We're live. At the push of a button, you broadcast out to the world, hoping your message will be felt and well received. And you found me, and here we are. My name is Craig Goldberg, as it says right down there. And each and every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, we go live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're watching us live, thank you. If you're watching the recording, thank you. If you're not watching us, you're not getting this message, thank you too. I appreciate you. And today's a big day. Today's a big day because I have three guests from the Life Changes show on that are so near and dear to my heart. I don't get to see them. We were just talking backstage about hugging one another, about catching up and dropping into each other's energy. And then, of course, remembering how intergalactically we are connected. And we're going to have a fantastic conversation. I'm excited to introduce them to you here in just a couple moments. Until then, I want to give you a little bit up to date as to what's happening here in Harmony. And last week, we talked about the brainwave states. We talked about the BrainTap headset and its impact on the body, and really how to kind of navigate using the BrainTap headset with in Harmony technology, what we're calling the cocoon experience. And this week I have a really big update because I'm down to my last sound lounge. It's really interesting manufacturing this post-COVID era. Where things that used to take a day or two are now taking 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 6 weeks. And as much as we try and stay on top of our needs, I sold my last practitioner today. I am out of stock in practitioners, and I sold, my second to last sound lounge over the weekend. I have one sound lounge left, which basically means that I have 25 sound lounges on order. I have 10 practitioners on order, and we're about to flip the switch, placing an order on our next 1,000 meditation cushions. So it's coming. What you're going to see on our website over the next day or so is we're going to flip the switch from in stock to ships probably in the next 6 to 8 weeks. I think by late August, we'll have everything in stock. If you're interested in any of those products, please make your purchase. If it's a sound lounge, make your purchase today. If it's a practitioner or a sound lounge, make your purchase anyway, because I ship first in, first out. Demand is high. So I highly recommend you getting in line. We will try and bring in products sooner than that. We do have some materials, so we'll probably wind up bringing in a partial order of sound lounges and practitioners. Anyhow, it's been very exciting what's been happening. We're eternally grateful for all the demand. We're trying to manage it as best we can. And I love you all for your compassion and empathy as we work through what is a very complex supply chain management scenario. Anyhow, enough about us. Let's talk about the Life Changes show. So I'm going to bring onto the screen right now, and we're going to unmute their microphones. This is dangerous. And we are going to talk just a little bit about what's going on here. All right, so let me first set the stage. So you read in the description already, if you're not familiar, Life Changes show, they are, I'm not going to read this because everybody can read it. I'm just going to tell you off my heart what these beautiful humans are doing. I can't even tell you, probably over 400 different shows that they've brought together in combining, and I know you can do a much better job at this, all three of you, but either way, they've probably done close to 400 shows in studio. When you hear Mark's voice, it's like butter. Philippe's voice is like butter. Dorothy's energy and her voice, just the energy that they bring is absolutely spectacular. And they have literally been teaching people and sharing with people stories of how life changes and how you can bring change into your life. And really a lot of the synchronicities that we all experience day in and day out, and about all of the shared experiences that we have day in and day out. And they've had the pleasure of having some incredible guests on their show. Maybe that'll be one of the things that we talk about today. I present to you the very spectacular Mark, Dorothy, and Filippo. Welcome to the show. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Craig. Hello.
I don't know who we decided, if it was Filippo or Mark, or who was going to give the intro as we were talking backstage. I can share just a little bit of humor here. So they record their show in studio, and it is as professional as recording studios can get. My father-in-law and my wife were on the show live, and I was having an absolute blast in the green room behind this glass plate where nobody can hear me, and I'm trying to distract them, and we were having a blast. These are three of my nearest and dearest friends and family members, and I'm honored that they're working with us in Harmony. I'm honored that we're participating and collaborating yet again, and I really want everybody here to understand a little bit about the show and your inspiration, and anyhow, and I also want them really to get to know you. So, Mark, why don't you take it away?
Greg, you're awesome, and I think all three of us could say the same about you and about each other. We're absolutely the closest and dearest of friends. We've been through it all together. The show was just warming up after 12 years of developing, of life changing, and of journeying together. And Dorothy, in her infinite wisdom, I think, is the catalyst that brought all this together. Filippo, in his vision, created the underpinnings of the show. And I had a long time aspiration and intention of creating positive, socially impactful content. And so the three of us came together, and it's been a journey of love. Can't even say it's labor, because it's been so much joy, and we've been through it all together. But I think the fun part about us, we like to say, is that you can't find three more different people that are more aligned. And it's kind of like red, green, and blue make white light. Three of us just come together, and it works, and we've been family ever since. And I'll hand it over to the master of change with that one.
Well, actually, we've just celebrated our 639th show yesterday. And so I can't wait to celebrate your 639th show, Craig. And
about that too.
I remember when I got to meet you and your beautiful and lovely, amazing wife, Ipek, and your father-in-law, Ilhan, was our 306th show. I had to look it up. I didn't remember the number, but I remember that's when I got to meet you. I think you were newlyweds, and now your parents.
That was 7 years ago we got married. Seven years ago. So I don't know if it was that long. It might have been 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. Did you look up the date of that show? Do you know?
I didn't look that up. I'm trying to pay attention to this show, but I at least want to bring in the number 300 and whatever I said, 306. Anyway,
306 is incredible.
And we have had an incredible experience, actually, in all this time. And you're right, in meeting so many different people, sharing so many different stories. And I want to say, I know a little later on we're going to talk about the products that you're doing, but one of the things I'm excited about now, Dorothy's known what she's talked about for a long time. Mark has held visions for a long time, and I've said things for a long time without really knowing where I got that information. And one of the things that I didn't know, I knew that this is important to say, and yet I didn't know how it would happen or why or when. And I would say someday the people that make products will be held responsible for the products they make. Someday people will care who's making this, what are they putting in it, and how are they making it, and what's their intention, and all of that. And I was just beaming when I was listening to you, and of course following this process that you've been going through. I was beaming when I thought, and there it is, folks, there it is. This is the intention that's going into this product, and why so many people nowadays are gravitating to it, along with it's really time for this kind of thing. So kudos to you, and thank you for being confirmation for that kind of.
I appreciate that. Look, here's what I think is really exciting. We're all on our path. And Tim, I'll get to your questions here in just a few minutes, and we'll talk a little bit about the tech. It's a great question. And yes, it was born in Sedona. It was our first official launch, and Tim is one of our first customers and practitioners, which is absolutely remarkable to watch this family grow. We're all on our path, spiritual path, physical, mental, emotional, whatever that looks like. And as I speak more and as I travel more, it's a matter of finding out where somebody is on the path and then meeting them there. It's one of the things that I absolutely love about our tech and love about the music meditations that they provide. It's about starting where you are and moving on from there. If you're in a situation that you don't love, if you're in a place that you're not happy with, you are the person that can make that change. And looking around you to find those tools is almost your responsibility, opening your eyes and seeing what tools there are around you. I have found the Life Changes Show to be one of those tools. I have found Dorothy's spectacular energetic alchemy course that I took, introducing me to the incredible Janusz codes that are sitting behind her that I will have on this wall in a few weeks and already have in my living room. And anybody who's seen the show, just rewind to 2-3 months ago in my last place and you'll see them there on the wall. The things that we get to learn from one another, and of course today with YouTube and Instagram lives and Facebook lives, there's tons of video content for us to follow and gain access to. It's one of the things, to echo your sentiment, Filippo, I think it's going to happen more and more. You know, I manage all of our social accounts, so to speak. I have a support team and they're phenomenal. However, it's me on the other side of all the Facebook comments. It's me on the other side of the Instagram feed. It's me on these lives and these comments in the comment sections as well. And I am the creator of our technology, and I am the creator of the experience and the community that we're building. And I think that's going to start happening more and more. I hardly believe it's Jeff Bezos on the other side of the Amazon customer service tickets that were being answered, but smaller companies and more entrepreneurs are taking that pole position and are the ones that are replying back to the community and frankly taking responsibility for what they've created. There's a lot of hate that gets spewed in those comments of cost and price and what we're doing and how we're doing it, and deflecting that away from my person, because I know it's not driven directly at my core, instead at the company, or even a reflection back of what that person's going through at that particular time. But it's something I think that's really important, that connectivity to our customer base. Tim, to answer your question, we've sold about 400 sound lounges. We've sold about 200 practitioners. We've sold about 730 meditation cushions. And we're about to revamp and order 25 more, 10 more, and 1,000 more. And we have about 1,000 users of our app. And I'm proud of these numbers because that community was built from zero. Tim was number one, as he's very proud to be, and we're very excited for him to be that in that number one slot. He literally got one of the first sound lounges from our first production run back in November of 2016, and it's still running today somewhere in Australia. But anyhow, maybe you could talk a little bit to learning and things that you took from the show, and maybe some things that piqued your interest from some of the guests that you had on the show, and I'd love to hear from Dorothy as well. With an open mic as to whatever Dorothy wants to share as well, but just some things that I'm thinking about.
Dorothy, take it away.
Dorothy.
We have had so many beautiful people share their stories and share their stories of change and how they have gone from just absolute horror to being life changers, to being able to share this story and say, it wasn't easy, but wow. Once you get it, once you understand that you are the power of your world and you're the one creating the story, then they create it in such a way, they come and share it with us, and it's just such a gift each and every week to listen to the individual stories of people remembering who they are.
Cool.
Filippo used to say when it was early in the journey that, you know, we're changing each other's lives as we were evolving. And that was so very true. We've been instrumental at taking in these stories, talking through what we heard, what we experienced, and applying that to what we were going through, and bring us further into coherence together as we now show up even a more unified, and of course over time a more from a more experienced perspective. So it really is, it's common ground as life changes. That's what, you know, that's the way we like to look at it.
Well, life does change. It changes by the moment. It does. And for people to embrace the changes, and I have a saying, it's good. How do I know? Because it is what it is. And everything in my past that I judged bad turned out to have a great gift in it for me. And that's things that we share on the show through our beautiful guests, is the gifts they've discovered by living the lives they came to live.
Filippo?
Yes.
I don't know. You look like you wanted to say something before, so I just wanted to give you the floor.
A while back,
Thank you. And that's a wrap.
We'll take it. All right.
A while back, I was asked to write a book about life changes, and I said that's not how I've been thinking of all the shows. And someone says, think about it. You have interviewed over, well, if you calculate, sometimes we have 2 guests. If you calculate that we've done special shows that have been outside the number that we talked about, and that we've had a musical guest for at least half of that number every week. So, or 2. So we've had so many people. And since I was a child, I was always interested. I was interviewing people without knowing I was interviewing. I thought I was just asking questions, but I really was interested in their stories, and I was interviewing them. And it was usually about changes, like, how did you do that? Or why did you do that? Or why don't you do that? Or, so somebody said, if you look at all the people you've interviewed, which now is thousands, you've almost like been data collecting. And so what is it that we all have in common? And I thought, wow, this person really wants to know. And one of the simplest answers is actually the hardest for people to understand, because we'd like to think that we're in control sometimes of everything. And so we'd like to say, I got it, or or sometimes we're so magnanimous. It's like, I got you. And it's like, no, nobody ain't got nobody. I mean, nobody, we don't have it unless we're tuned in, and part of all of this, like really get a sense that we're really a part of this. Because the people that'll say things like, how's it going? Oh, same old, same old. No such thing. There is no such thing. Life changes, as you've said, Dorothy said, Mark says, I say, life changes. And so if it's not changing, if you don't see it changing out there, it's changing inside. And if you don't see it changing inside, it's changing out there. It's changing everywhere. And so we're never stepping into our life the same person from, like Dorothy said, moment to moment to moment. And all of that to say, if in this moment we're not different after we've experienced it, then we have no idea what we experienced, and we just missed out on maybe life's greatest gift, and that's life changes.
I think one of the most powerful aspects to kind of recognizing that day to day, I do hear an echo, which means StreamYard's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Let's see. I don't know. Anyway, we'll wait for it to go. I think one of the most powerful things to do is to really reflect on the day, is to really reflect through journaling and to really look back on what happened that day. What did I experience that day? What takeaways do I have from that day or that experience? I think often of a Viktor Frankl quote, which probably one of you can give me back better than I can, but it's basically between a stimuli and a reaction, there is a space, and it's in that space that we really find out who we are. And whether that space is 15 minutes or whether that space is 15 years, think of the difference in how we feel on that happening, whatever that stimuli was, and what type of reflection we put on it. Of course, the lessons you learn in 15 years of perspective, of heartache, of suffering, or of joy and of happiness and of forgetfulness. So many different ways that you can look at that. The fact that our lives are changing day in and day out on a regular basis it's one of the driving factors and forces behind what we do, and why I have so much love for what we do. Life does change every day, and using our technology to integrate what happened each and every day can be very powerful. Mark, over to you.
So that's where I was going to go. This conversation is wrapped in the process, the outward process of change. Yet that inner process, I'm a giant fan of In Harmony, of the work that you've been doing for so long. And what I would say right now, in terms of making sure that it's in this recording, is to confirm the authenticity The love, the intelligence, the time and research that you have put into understanding the whole process and then actually translating that to products that do what you intend is key. And we've been working with energy for a long time. And, you know, I've used the Sound Lounge multiple times, and the In Harmony cushion, I got to tell you, you know, and we don't align with products per se to align with products. But I wanted to share this one specifically because the power of this as a tool, and not everyone has a Dorothy around to give them tools all day long. And we're blessed to have Dorothy around, and maybe she, you know, she doesn't need my calls as often, but you know, we enjoy the process. The energy shifts that I've been able to curate, you know, and I do have a knowledge of triggers, and I understand, you know, kind of what's going on. I'm self-aware enough of my own PTSD and my own moments, and so I've been able to apply the In Harmony cushion and the app and the frequencies in a way that's targeting specific events when I feel them come up, not just to release and go into the meditative state, but actually to change the energetic structure, the cellular structure in that moment. And it works. And that's been so powerful. It's like, it's next level.
I appreciate that, Mark. It is why we do what we do. And it is at the root of it to impact mental health, mindfulness, to reach deeper meditative states, or just to reach a meditative state, whether you call it meditation or not, is less important. And instead to give the brain the space it needs to do the things it needs to do to make itself feel better. Because we have inside us the power to right the ship at any time. We have the power to right the ship. And so few of us can cut through the day-to-day monumental issues that we're faced day in and day out, and sound, vibration, music, meditation helps us to clean up the desk of the mind, if you will, and organize things so that we're ready and prepared to charge the day ahead, and really to reflect, like I was saying with that Viktor Frankl quote, creating the space, elongating the space between a stimuli and a reaction, or revisiting a reaction that we had to a particular stimuli. My car broke down. I lost my job. I got a raise and I have a new job now because I now have a new position with new responsibility. It can be bad or good, doesn't matter how you label it. Your life is changing, often for the better, and often, are you guys familiar with pronoia? The term pronoia? Mark, I know you are, because we share friends that have it. So I bet Filippo and everybody else is too. But most people aren't. We're all familiar with paranoia. Paranoia is they're out to get me and the world is out to get me. Pronoia is actually the exact opposite of that everything is happening and unfolding for my pleasure and my benefit. The universe has my back, as our very spectacular friends that have a clothing line named Pronoia. And it was something that I thought was really positive. For people need to understand that the universe is unfolding for you at all times. When you get laid off, you weren't supposed to be at that job. You weren't supposed to be there. You weren't supposed to be doing that. As painful as it might be, there is something better for you on the horizon. The universe is always unfolding for you. And it's sharing these principles, these concepts, these ideas that I know is part and parcel for the Life Changes show, because as you're interviewing these incredible human beings that have done incredible things, they've also experienced great hardship. They have also experienced challenges that they've had to overcome, whether they're mental, emotional, physical, relational. They've had challenges and struggles. And I think if there's anything that combines and aligns all of us, it's that we all struggle at times with different things, and we can all help one another through those times of struggle. Or frankly, we learn to look within and we found the grit and the tenacity and the passion and the drive to get through it ourselves. And I think it's one of the most amazing aspects to the Life Changes show, is that you're getting to exemplify this over and over and over again, because sometimes it's not about us saying it, it's about other people saying it, and getting a reaction from somebody that we resonate with. That becomes really powerful as well. Anything y'all want to close with? Anything you want to share now that we're all here?
I'd like to riff on that point real quick, just that it's common ground, and that's what we have found with our guests. And as we said, it's the one thing we all have in common, is that life changes, and we all wake up in the morning doing the best we can with what we have to work with. And other than that, we're all, you know, it's the Ram Dass quote: "We're all walking each other home." Right?
That's so
We
beautiful.
are. Thank you.
At the end of every show, I get to say something that also came through me, and that is, as your life changes, like ours surely did tonight. And I mean that. I mean that for all of us, because our moment has changed. When Dorothy and Mark and I are ready for the show, and the specific show that we're doing already, we've had conversations about it, we've learned about it, we've grown with it, and then we get to share our guest and our musical guest, and we get to share that with everybody. If we're not changed on the other side of this, like we are being changed right now with you, my friend, our friend Craig. And so here we are. So this, and what I haven't gotten to experience the In Harmony cushion yet, because I've been out of town, and so we're going to fix that.
Yes, we will.
Hopefully very soon. What I love about your product is, all one has to do is sit their ass down. I mean, just sit, just sit down, right? And so as life changes, if it's like you said earlier, if it's bad, sit down, meditate, but if it's good, sit down, give gratitude. Am I right?
You're right. You're right on, right? Creating a safe space, a comfortable space to sit and just relax, just breathe and listen to the music, which distracts the mind. So as focused on it as you are on whatever just happened, whatever it is that you're working through, the music calms and relaxes the mind, distracts the mind. The vibrations fill your heart, your mind, your body, and really allows you to create that space to, I think we have a new marketing term, just sit your ass down. I think we have a new hashtag. I'll bounce it off the team. I'll see what they think.
Be in harmony.
Sit your ass down. I like it. I appreciate you being here. I love you. I hope this is the first of many, because obviously you've had me on your show and I'd love to have you here. I'm honored to share space with all three of you and everybody else that's here, and many of you that are watching live, and all the comments that are coming in. I really appreciate you all being here. We'll be back next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific for another live. You can catch me on Instagram throughout the week. Much love and gratitude to all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and have a great night. Bye-bye.